Hey, Justin Rayleigh, good list too. All right, all right. Oh man. Whoa, whoa, whoa. How you doing, Lee?
Got some good action this morning.
Yeah. What you got action on? What up, everybody? Good morning, Americas. America's a beautiful, wonderful, most beautiful place in the world. I love it so much. All right, all right. Let's get to work, people. Let's get to work. Just 1 sec. I'm just getting my serum on. Getting my serum on. Ooh, this is a new one I've been using, a super peptide serum. Woo! That's nice. All right. Everybody good? Everybody juicy? You got your serums on. All right. Let's get to work. We've got a little bit of a bouncy in the market. A little bit of bouncy in the market. We got, after yesterday's big drop, we ended up with probably about a 1% bounce off lows. We were down about 1.5%, 1.8%, 2%, give or take. And we ended up bouncing a little bit and we gave some of that back. So we're kind of now stuck in a little bit of a range here that we can trade around. So, ideally, my thinking is, we want to let this market probably bounce up a little bit today if we can, but we're entering maybe a little bit of a new phase in the market till this kind of resolves itself, which is, we're kind of now stuck in like a little bit of a, right, just a little bit of a triangle thingamajiggy, where we're just kind of under a lot of MAs, but we're over the 50-day moving average. So we're in like a little bit of a sandwich, right? That needs to resolve itself. One of the things to always just be mindful of when you're trading is, the best trading is always done when your MAs or when you're kind of just over your MAs and you're kind of just, right, just scooting and tooting all the way up. When you get into more of this is a signal of some level of indecision in the market, right? And so what we want to do is when you have some indecision, you want to make sure that you're just kind of playing it cool. Now, that doesn't mean that the market or there won't be amazing stocks, but it becomes more concentrated, right? It's not every stock now, it's more sectors of stocks, right? Sectors of stocks and different things that go. Like, for example, like yesterday, the market was getting tore up, but you did see, right, quite a bit of action in small caps, for example, right? You had a whole list of small caps that were just, hooting and tooting all day. And so you got to just kind of shift action, right? So when the market's or the MAs, everything works. When the market is kind of more in this sandwich of, right, sandwich of love, then you're going to have to be just slightly careful to see like kind of what the heck is going on. I think that makes it just a little bit easier to, a little bit easier to trade. So till we start breaking back over these MAs and right, everything starts curling up here. We're in a little bit more of a, I would say, defensive posturing. Now there's action. So let's go in and just take a look at what type of news plays we got, what's kind of moving around in the pre-market. I think a lot of people have probably noticed, right, that there's been a lot of action in like, these smaller AI names, eVTOL, like, all this kind of stuff. So, you have a whole host of different type of names that are kind of blowing through. So let's go and see like what's going on. My boy here, he's been talking about these drone stocks forever, right? And they had a huge bid yesterday. So, you see some of this kind of stuff, which, frankly is a big gelatinous probably turd, but like these caught a huge bid yesterday, right? And so you had all these drone related, AI related, kind of, a little bit of a theme there. And so, we want to probably play some of these. Now, this UAVS is the biggest turd out of the group. The rest of them, though, are doing pretty good. So keep an eye on, this is right a theme of yesterday. So let's see. Maybe you get a little action in the Jobster today, or maybe you get a little additional follow through and Pet the Cat. And dude, we'll go out and shred. Sham Mama, what's up, baby? Sham, what's with your new computer only having 32 gigs of RAM? What is this, 2010? So rookie numbers. What's up, baby? Hey, Mr. Blanton, how you doing? Now, let's take just a quick look at the SPY. It's a little bit more broken than the Qs. You can see here, actually, the trend is starting, at least on a short and intermediate term basis, been slightly down, but really we're just more in a chop zone here. And so we'll have to, stay away from probably all these kind of SPY stocks because you've got all this resistance right on top of it. So there's not much to do, especially if you're like trying to trade like futures or options to the long side on them. They're kind of a lot of supply on them. The same thing's happening with the IWM. So out of the group, really just the Qs is holding up, the best, but we do have kind of a little bit of push to it. Now, one thing to also just be mindful of is, if you're looking at your scans, there's not that as many good stocks right now as there were. There's not as many good stocks right now as there were even a couple weeks ago, right? If you were doing your scans a couple weeks ago, what did you notice? Well, you would notice that your watch list was like 100 fucking names, right? And now, like, what's your watch list? You're going through, and just in a little bit, right? Your watch list goes from 100 names that are hot to 10, right? 11. And so that's also something you want to just kind of keep it to the back of your mind. Always let like what's happening on your watch list kind of rule and give you a clue on like how hot the market is. Now let's start flipping through these and see if we got any kind of news plays out here. MSTRE's popping. Most likely this is a short on all bounces. Now, does that mean today? Probably not. But most likely this is a short on all bounces. I mean, it's just broken at this point, right? You're just trending down the EMA. So any and all pops get shorted. Does it get room to the EMA? Sure. But is that what you constitute as a hot setup? Like, hey, I'm playing this thing to the 50 EMA. Is that right? Like if you're looking at some broken stock and your big idea for the day is like, "Oh, I'm going to play the bounce into the EMA." That's not, that's not really where you really want to be participating in, in the markets, right? So you could do it, but it seems like a little bit of waste. Mr. Blanton, what do you got for today? Now, like if I thought Bitcoin was going to rip, right? I would rather be in something like a BTDR that's got a breakout setting up, right? When you have something that's like a little bit more juicy McGee, right? All right. You can see EH. These guys are also an electric helicopter company, I believe. Electric helicopter taxi, something along that end. It's got a huge base over here. I mean, when does it ever clear? I'm not sure. I've got like a million alerts set on this thing. It trades like a double rundy for the most part. Pass. Right, Riggedy. This has been kind of a daily trader. My guess is that, if it ramps hard today, it rolls over tomorrow. Ideally, if you ever wanted to short this thing, and it still looks fairly bullish, but if you ever wanted to short this thing, a big ramp hard today would set it up for a nice January 2nd, little fadey McGee. I think this one in sound, if they ramp today, they both get dusted January 2nd. It's just a little bit of a guess, but you notice that, this will happen a lot as people turn over into new stocks at the beginning of the year. Oh, the baloney pony. Pony AI. This is a new one. I had not heard of this one before. I'll add it to my AI list. Pony AI. Ain't that something? The baloney pony. Dude, the 90s were a great time. How come we had all the cool words back then? Hut. Yeah, these are all, you can see here. They're all little, some of these AI quantum stocks are catching a little bit of bid. Some of the Bitcoin stocks, but they're all broken for the most part. And you can see here. I think the play today is to get into some of these turds. I know it's you don't want to do it on the last day of the year, but if you look here, right, you got yourself a nice spot here. Dude, you got yourself a nice spot here. Dude, why not, right? You got something like this Holy Nation, like you're getting all these kind of stocks like with the bid here. So I would add in maybe this Pet the Cat. Now it's a little bit of a grinder, but this 15 might be a spot. I think Lunar's had a couple rest days after that big run. And you got a nice kind of flag breakout sitting up about 1950, give or take. We got the Oclo Nation. We got the Oclo Nation over here. Now, one thing with Oclo, you don't want to chase this thing. I've been rugged on this thing at breakout spot, like I can't even count how many times. The Oclo Nation loves to just like pop and then do a little ruggy McGee. So you got to be careful with it. It's at a breakout spot. It may even be better as a swing. As a day trader, it does trade just a little bit haphazard. You got to make sure you don't fucking Thayer. You got to make sure you don't hit like the first candle and and try to do something like that. It tends to do better as it like kind of rugs down and it kind of bear flags and then ramps up. All right, all right. BMR. Yeah, you can see like some of these things are going. Hey, these natural gas plays were hot yesterday. I didn't see if they kind of kept bouncing, but see if you see Natty Gas reverse after it fills some of this gap, you could probably put this EQT on the watch list. Nice little trend on it yesterday. These are all turds. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, RBRK. This is also good setup, but once it's a little bit thin, right? I don't know if this is like an epic day trader. It's got all sorts of little fandazzles on it. Arvin. Yeah, I think you can wait for it. If you're trading on the future side, hey, Zaman, what are you watching, baby? Yeah, I think, if you're watching, it's like it'd be nice to kind of get it lower, but you've got some ranges to play around. You'll just have to watch the price action, right? See where the stalling action or right the grinding action is. Zaman, what you got, baby? You know what? This NBIS is okay. I've been watching it for a while. It's just sitting here on this support. It's got to just kind of, it'll have a day where it's going to clear out this. It's going to have a day, I don't know what they call this back in the day. It's like, does everything kind of seem like a triangle pattern for the most part? Right? Like, everything seems like a triangle pattern. So it is something, but it's probably got to come out of here. But ideally, right, you want these EMAs to kind of open up, and then I think you got it. Yeah, turbo, but how do you know which one is which? Ascending, descending. Why don't they just make them all triangles? Hold on, I'm just putting my last layer of love on. Ooh, last layer of love. I don't want to start looking like Sham. Gotta hide my face all the time. Then you gotta rub that thing in, guys. You don't want to just apply these moisturizers. You gotta rub it in. Let's take a look, Zaman, my Persian prince, my little wizard. Yeah, I've been eyeballing this one too. You got borrows on it? You got borrows on it? It shouldn't be that hard to borrow, but yeah, let it blow out a little bit. You probably are. You probably got something there. Yeah, QUBT. You are tightening up here, guys. And remember, this company this used to be NBev, the old iced tea company, just like a year ago. So, at some point, it's going to get rugged. My guess is it's on the second. Yeah, Soundhound, you may get one extra day too, and then if this ramps today, we take it down Thursday or Friday. Usually, New Year, little rollover. People move into the January effect stocks, right? January effect stock. If you guys recall, right? January effect stocks are really all the beaten down names that people are selling at the end of December, right? To just book the loss on the taxes. They'll do that, and then you'll have like a little slight switch over, right? And so like you're in some big turd that's been sitting on the bottom for a while, and then, for example, like if you're in you know right? If you're in like Intel or mRNA or right, some of these things, like you're selling these off, right? MBLY, whatever it might be, you're selling these off at the end of the year, right? To just book the loss on your taxes, like a U, right? Like how's U down this year, right? Like, all these kind of turds have been going. So usually you'll see like a little bit of a bid, and I'll make a list of this for you guys, but usually you'll see a little bit of a bid on any one of the ones that got like a little bit of a smooth chart. And then some of these kind of high flyers, especially the Turdy McGee's, they'll get sold off. So you may have something, right, like this Boots and Coots, or right, like an mRNA or something. Most likely like a U would probably work. So you'll get maybe a little bit of a bid at some point in January on some of these, and then you'll have a sell off in probably, my guess is the leader of it's going to be probably the first one to get sold off will be QBT and Sound. Good. Let's take a look at some of the big caps here, because the watch list is going to be a little bit dry here. You got Tesla here sitting on the 20 SMA. I believe they got delivery numbers. They got their delivery numbers when? Motherfuckers. I believe it's Thursday. So do kind of be mindful that, probably you're not going to just roll into this thing on an overnighter. NVIDIA just stuck in range. It's a salute. And you're at Amazon also. It's sitting 220 as a support. It's just kind of building out right now. It's in a little bit of a chop and grind zone. AMD downtrend, MU downtrend. Google is holding up here. It's just the 20 EMAs catching up on this. And, at some point, probably, like if you this is usually the how it goes, right? You get the breakout of all-time highs after a big long base, and then you chop around a little bit and rebuild, and you kind of take out this 200 at some point. That's probably the best looker out of the big caps. Microsoft just stuck in range, right? It's a giant Rendy for the most part. It's just in this box, and it's not going anywhere really until maybe some catalyst comes through, right? Netflix also now, right? Just stuck in range, and it's been up a lot, right? So this one, it's got probably some chopping to do to let that 50 SMA catch up. Meta, it's also just stuck right inside this big range here. So you got nothing over there. Dun, 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 dun. Man, nothing. And AVGO out of the large caps, that looks the best, right? You had the earnings breakout, then a pull, and you're just starting to marinate this. And on the intraday action on AVGO, every day, on the gap downs, it has been grinding higher. So whenever it's gapping down, you are grinding higher a little bit over here. So you got yourself some doohickeys there that should work. So any kind of weakness on this bad boy, I mean, I think that's top of the list, like on the big boys. And then look, for the rest of the day, we just trade the turds. I think we got to. Right. So we go into the hollow RCAT. We got Lunar, Oklo. Remember, Oklo does trade like crap, though. You can't chase this one. It's intraday. Anytime you chase it, it rips down. I've done this a million times on this damn stock. Dude, anytime it spikes up and you see some little flag, it'll whoop. And look, it's been, if you look here just in terms of price action itself, the last couple days, right? Any kind of first candle morning spike has been, right, rugged down. So, right, if you hit the first candle because you're like, oh wow, it's breaking some previous day's range, then that price action's been getting sold off. So you do want to be careful, making sure you get good entries. The ideal entry is probably like, right, if it bear flags. We're still in a little bit of the buy the bear flag kind of mode in this market. And you can do, somebody's mentioned serve. I had this on my watch list a couple days ago, and then it's just kind of rugged back down. It could work. And out of the Bitcoin stocks, this is the best one, guys. If Bitcoin keeps ramping, let's say, because the market's closed tomorrow and Bitcoin's like, yeah, let's ramp this to 100 grand or something, right? Let's go and hit back into the 100 spot. Then you've got yourself a good spot on this. It tested down into the 20 SMA yesterday, and now you got to write a green candle to hold. So you got yourself a little something. Did you get the laptop working?
A login. There's a login.
Oh, here, I got you. 8341. I got you. Yeah, I'm not sure on MSTR. It looks like just kind of a downtrend. Right, it's a slit. Mara, double Rundy. Yeah, I don't even know what to do with this one. Like, it can't ever go. APP's got a spot here at some point. The range is getting pretty tight. Let me get rid of all these lines here. Right, the range is getting pretty tight on it. Hold on here. What the fuck? Yeah, you got a little bit of a spot here, I think, that's developing. It still needs a little work, right? right? Because you're just stuck inside, like it's just in a sandwich. So if it starts to clear at some point 350, then you can do it. Let me see BBAI. Yeah, I think this one, these kind of little AI companies have been just cruising. You got GFAI, never caught it, but BBAI, that's had some heat. Yeah, you can still probably keep messing with it. I do think we're at the tail end of this run on these, at least these little ones. And it may be happening maybe as soon as, January 2nd. Let me see. I think the rest of these nukes are really, they're just stuck, right? NNE, SMAR. It seems to be the only one. And that is the one pause I do have on the Oklo, right? Is like, I like personally, if I'm going to do some kind of breakout on something, right? I want to personally see, like a hot little sector run too. The breakouts are a lot cleaner when everything is going, right? Like, like the breakouts and the moves are a lot cleaner when, all of them, right, are kind of moving together. And so now you can play hot potato where you're like, oh, this one's going. Oh, this one's going, right? Like, if you're looking at like quantum names, right? It's like one goes and then the other one goes and the other one goes and right then the other one goes. And so you're playing this game of hot potato and everybody's like, oh, fuck, I sold on this. I sold IONQ and I went into this one. Oh, I sold Riggedy and I went into QBT. Oh, I sold this one. I went into Sound and, so on and so forth. With Oklo, my worry would be, if it breaks out, like, why are these other ones so dead? And that's not always the tell all. You can have individual stocks that lead the way, but it's a lot easier to stick if everything is going together, and that's just usually the nature of the beast. So while the rest of the kind of posse is kind of grinding down, right, Oklo's breaking out. So I do have on a day trade basis, I wouldn't care, right? On a swing trade basis, I probably would care. Motherfuckers. Nah, some asshole just probably pumped this thing. Bastards. Jerks. Dude, they never wait around for us anymore. How you going to do that while we're trying to, do some YouTubing? Man's trying to do a little YouTube and you're going to push this thing out. That ain't right. I mean, that ain't a holiday spirit. That ain't the Christian way. That ain't God-fearing Christian way. Damn. They took it too. 400,000 shares. That ain't right. Let me look, Samurai. SPCB. Yeah, I don't like when they have these tails on them though. That's when I get a little bit. That's when I get a little bit kind of like, shit. Good. All right, let's go do what we do, guys. Yeah, hood looks okay, but it's stuck in range. Hey, let's just kind of recap here. Market's in a little bit of a flux. We're in a small bit of range, right? So you don't want to be as aggressive as you would be later, all right? You don't want to be as aggressive as you would be if the market had been trending, unless you're in specific themes. And just be mindful out of the big caps. If you're one of these people that trades a lot of Amazon or PLTR or something, they're all starting to settle into some bigger, longer term ranges. Guys, when you have a stock that just goes straight up like this, you may go sideways for 6-8 months sometimes when it finally peaks out. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the healing process. And so you're starting to see, right, a big, long ranges develop in these larger names that, frankly, make them almost untradeable, minus like scalps here or there, right? So you have all of these in range. The only ones that are not stuck in range is this AVGO, and Tesla is still in its uptrend, but it's also starting to. You got to remember that it's more than doubled, right? Of recent. So now, it takes time to kind of resettle. I mean, if you more than double, you're gonna need a little bit of something, something. Good. Yeah, you just need it may need time, and you got delivery numbers on this one. So out of the big caps, you only got really this one. And it's hard to break out if everything else is kind of just standard, right? So, like, for this to really, really break out, while everything else is just kind of sitting around doing nothing, stuck in range, that's tricky. So you do want to just kind of just keep mindful, right? Like, look at this meta. This is right. It had an awesome run the last couple of years, and so it's natural to just sit around for a little bit of a period of time, and it's doing that, right? It's really at the same price since October, just sitting around in this kind of 600 range. It had a couple days where it did break the range, but it came right back down. So when you get these stocks and they're stuck in range, you just got to leave them alone, right? You move on to the next one and you find something else that's hotter. So you got Goog, you got AVGO, and then, Apple, of course, is holding up too. Apple just thinks to trade. You got a 1% ATR on the thing. There ain't much to do on that. Cool. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. I know this side is a damn Randy. It'll pull back though. That was probably just a chat room pump. All right, you know the drill, guys. I'll be in the Discord room the rest of the day. Anybody else got anything they want to chat about? Oh, let's take a look. All right. I love you guys. Let's go do what we do. This will probably be a short day. My guess is, action till noon, and then we see what's up. Yeah, Mullen is. It's of that time of the year where like these kind of names may pop for a couple days. You saw FFIE really push through. Damn. All right. Yeah, you can keep day trading this. I mean, this thing has had a lot of reverse splits, so the float on this is gonna be pretty tiny. Go for it. All right. I love you guys. Peace.